I'm struggling to understand how the Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple plan to spend their time. Their NYC dreams aren't full-time. January 28, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The Golden Bachelorette stars Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple have been sharing updates about finding a home together in New York City, but I'm struggling to understand their plans for their love nest. Throughout the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, viewers got the chance to know Joan and Chock as a couple while their relationship was forming. The pair was excited to be able to get to know each other without the show's cameras, but things changed quickly for Chock and Joan once producers weren't intermingling in their relationship. The couple had to watch as Bachelor Nation saw their love unfold. Throughout the run of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan and Chock had to watch as Bachelor Nation eviscerated Chock for his behavior on the series. While Joan had fallen for Chock, Bachelor Nation wasn't so sure about him. Throughout the season, Chock isolated himself from the rest of the cast, and his intense feelings for Joan rubbed viewers the wrong way. Even so, Joan and Chock found themselves happily together as they moved through the postseason, and both shared that they wanted to move into a New York City apartment, but the stipulations surrounding their move has me confused. Joan and Chock want an NYC love nest. As Joan and Chock move through the next phase of their relationship, the couple have been candid about the fact that they want to find a place in New York City to call home. Joan, who's lived in Maryland for her entire adult life, and Chock, who's originally from Kansas, are looking to find a new place that they can share together. While the idea of moving to New York City is great in theory, it's also a confusing one considering the couple's stipulations surrounding their move to the Big Apple in the coming months, which involves some serious finagling. The couple want to find a place in New York City where they can flourish together but not live together full-time. Instead, Joan and Chock want to move to NYC in a part-time manner, moving back and forth between their respective separate homes and their independent love nest. While originally I thought the couple would be foregoing their separate homes in different states to live together in New York City, it's become clear that they both want to maintain their pre-Golden Bachelor lives in a way, moving in together in a completely separate new space in NYC's chic Soho neighborhood. Joan's family in Maryland are her priority. Although Joan has been clear throughout her time on the Golden Bachelor Season 1 and then the Golden Bachelorette that she doesn't anticipate leaving her children or grandchildren in Maryland for extended periods of time, many thought she was going to bend on that once she got engaged. With Chock coming from Kansas and Joan sharing that she wanted to live in New York City, just a few-hour train ride away from her family, it felt certain she wouldn't be sticking around her family as closely as she had before. Instead, Joan appears to be trying to merge things. Rather than giving up her life before the Golden Bachelorette fully, Joan seems to want to shift her focus to a new life that takes her all over the place. Spending some time in her home state of Maryland with her family, some time in New York City, and some time in Kansas with Chock, Joan appears to be getting more mobile than ever. Instead of trying to hunker down with her family and find love on her own, her turn on the Golden Bachelorette is changing the way she's building her schedule moving forward, though she's still prioritizing family. Chock's business in Kansas is his everything. Chock's life in Kansas has revolved around his business for a long time, especially since his children aren't local for him. And after learning about his affinity for his home on the Golden Bachelorette, many assumed Joan would prioritize that. Despite knowing that there were some moments throughout the season where Chock was contemplating leaving the show altogether, his time on the series seemed to make him miss his home more than he anticipated. Chock's love and care for Joan was grounding, but he did want to be back in Kansas quickly after the show wrapped and changed everything. While Chock's circumstances for wanting to stick around in his native Kansas are a bit different than Joan's motivations of seeing her family grow, Chock's business is serious and lucrative. Chock's been building his business for years and appears to be successful in what he does, but it's likely that moving out of Kansas would have been a bit easier for him with the advent of remote work and the technology surrounding it. Even so, Chock didn't appear to be willing to give up his home or lifestyle in Kansas after the Golden Bachelorette, even if that meant giving up Joan. I don't understand Joan and Chock's NYC move. They're not going to be spending all their time together. Although I understand wanting to have a more transient lifestyle and moving around, Joan and Chock's plans to move from place to place sounds expensive and inconvenient. The pair apparently intend to move into their New York City home together, but only stay part-time. Instead, they appear to want to move between their homes in Maryland and Kansas when they're not in New York. Maintaining so many spaces will be a challenge for Joan and Chock, even with help, and constantly being so unsettled sounds exhausting in a way I personally don't want to be when I'm in my 60s. Though Joan and Chock surely understand their wants, it feels like the couple haven't thought out this plan enough for it to be happening so soon. Joan and Chock have been doing everything they can to move toward finding a New York City home, but their plans for the future include moving around so frequently that I don't understand why they want to go through with them. They're spending a ton of money for a fraction of time. While I don't know if living in NYC is the right move for the Golden Bachelorette couple, the alternative Bachelorette stars Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple have been sharing updates about their plans to find a home together in New York City, but I'm struggling to fully grasp their vision for a future together. Throughout the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, viewers watched Joan and Chock's connection evolve as a couple. The pair's relationship was an intriguing storyline, and they were visibly excited about what came next, getting to know each other without the cameras. However, things took an unexpected turn once the production of the show wrapped, leaving viewers to question how their future plans align. Their NYC love nest dreams. Both Joan and Chock have made it clear that they want to settle into a place in New York City. Joan, who's spent her entire adult life in Maryland, and Chock, who hails from Kansas, are both eager to carve out a life together in the Big Apple. On the surface, their dream of an NYC love nest sounds lovely. Who wouldn't want a chic apartment in one of the world's most iconic cities? But what has me perplexed is their decision to pursue this dream part-time. Chock's commitment to Kansas. Chock's situation is just as complicated. Kansas is his home, and his business there is his pride and joy. Chock's entrepreneurial spirit has kept him grounded in Kansas, and despite his blossoming relationship with Joan, it seems his business is something he's unwilling to leave behind. Throughout the Golden Bachelorette, Chock struggled with the idea of giving up his life in Kansas. There were moments during the show when he questioned whether or not he should continue his journey on the series, and after the show wrapped, he was quick to return to his familiar surroundings. It's clear that Chock's life is centered around his business, which is successful and lucrative. He's built something that's meaningful to him, and he's not willing to sacrifice it for the sake of romance, even with Joan by his side. While remote work and technological advancements could make it easier for Chock to work from anywhere, it seems like he's drawn a firm line when it comes to his hometown. His roots are deep in Kansas, and he's not looking to uproot himself, especially if it means leaving behind something that's important to him. The logistical nightmare of their plan. While it's easy to see why Joan and Chock would be attracted to the idea of a chic New York apartment, their plans for the future seem like a logistical nightmare. They want to maintain 3 homes, one in Maryland, one in Kansas, and one in New York City. Moving between these locations frequently sounds like a recipe for exhaustion, both emotionally and financially. The costs of maintaining 3 homes, coupled with the physical and emotional strain of constantly being on the move, don't add up to a sustainable long-term plan. Furthermore, I can't help but wonder how their relationship will fare under such circumstances. Constantly switching between different locations and trying to juggle their individual priorities might strain their connection over time. The back-and-forth lifestyle they envision seems exhausting, and while it may sound exciting now, the novelty may wear off. It's one thing to want to explore a new chapter in life together, but it's another to commit to a plan that seems so fragmented and unsettled. Are they really ready for this? At the end of the day, I'm left questioning whether Joan and Chock have fully thought through their plans. While they seem to be in love and eager to build a life together, I'm not sure if their current approach will lead to lasting happiness. Balancing the demands of family, business, and a long-distance relationship in multiple cities might not be as glamorous as it sounds. Perhaps their vision of a love nest in New York is a symbolic gesture of their commitment to each other, but the reality of living in separate spaces part-time sounds far from ideal. Maintaining multiple homes and constantly moving between them will likely bring a lot of challenges that they may not have fully anticipated. While I admire Joan and Chock's ambition to forge a unique life together, I can't help but wonder if their vision for the future is practical, or if it's simply an idealistic dream that might not stand the test of time. I'm not sure what their future holds, but I do know that love requires more than just a dream. It requires a plan that's sustainable and grounded in reality. Stay tuned for more updates, and let me know what you think about Joan and Chock's big move.